And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome tonight Ellery Adams, who's here to give us the inside scoop on her brand new book out tomorrow. That is Invasive Species. Actually, it's out next week. Usually we do the interviews the night before the pub, but Ellery will already be on tour. So we're doing this 1 week and 1 day early. Ellery, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you, those of us who are joining us live. We really appreciate you being here. Invasive Species, I'll give you the 3-second pitch and then a slightly longer one. So the 3-second pitch is it's Desperate Housewives meets Stranger Things with a side of Cersei. So that's the super quick one. And the slightly longer one is that this is a story about suburban drama, folklore and mythology, horror, and feminist fiction. And it focuses on a neighborhood in New York in 1982, in which on the same street, we've got a bunch of women who are trying to have it all. And I put that in quotes because this is a common advertising slogan from that time period targeting women. And the pressure women were feeling to have it all was really, really causing friction in their lives. And the women on this street are trying to fulfill all of their desires, and they're so focused on it that their lives start unraveling. And they're too busy to even notice that one of the women, is not even human and is in fact a major danger to the children.
Oh my goodness. Well, I remember the pressure to do it all, have it all, go to work and the stilettos, come home and have dinner on the table in time. I remember, I think it was roughly around the time of the Virginia Slims, "You've come a long way, baby," sort of slogan.
Yeah, I actually have, this is an ad from Enjolé. It's a perfume. And it says, listen to this. This is a real ad. The 8-hour fragrance for the 24-hour woman. So who can do that? And in the picture, she is the mom, the career woman. She's super healthy. Oh, and she's also stylish and going shopping and has perfect makeup. That is a setup for disaster. And I feel like we haven't really changed so much. We're still kind of facing that pressure. So the book works today just as it would have worked in 82 because we still have to wear 100 hats and we apparently can't sleep.
Exactly. Sleeping, who needs that? Who cares if your cells have time to have cellular turnover and clear the beta amyloids from your brain?
Yeah, we don't need any of that.
Well, I am so excited to chat with you about Invasive Species, and I just want to welcome everyone because we are broadcasting live to 8 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So listen, mystery and thriller loving friends, no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right time. It is the right place. It is Mystery Monday because Mondays can be murder. We're going to make it a little less painful and get your week off to a killer start. If you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome, friends. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Ellery about this book, which we notice she is so perfectly color coordinated with. Picking up what you're putting down, Ellery, about her writing process. 40 books plus anything you want. You got going on, just get those questions going in the comments. We'll kick off with Robin from Facebook saying, "Hello all from sunny Coeur d'Alene, Idaho." Welcome, Robin.
What a fun sounding town name.
And that I remember when Coeur d'Alene was in the news a few months ago for getting into some good trouble. So it sounds like my kind of town. Oh. Renee is joining us from Southeast Florida saying, "Hi, Sara and Ellery." Hi, Renee. Welcome. Good to see you. We have Randy joining us from YouTube saying, "Hi, Sara." Hi, Randy. Welcome. Good to see you. We have Sharon joining us from YouTube saying, "Howdy, girls." Howdy to you, Miss Sharon. So good.
Love the Hello Kitty, Sharon.
Oh my God. So fun story about Sharon. Sharon has been with me for so many years here on Mavens, and I finally got to meet Sharon in person. Was it 2 years ago, Sharon, when I hosted Lisa Unger's book launch at Unlikely Story, and she brought me a Hello Kitty pen, which I still have.
Well, I hope I'll meet you when I'm at Unlikely Story later.
Okay, head
Insane.
over there, Sharon. And now you got to bring a Hello Kitty item for Miss Ellery
No
there.
pressure, no pressure, but I will take it if you bring it.
Renee saying, wait, can't we have it all? And Robin is saying, women can have it all, but it doesn't mean you can do any of them very well. Ellery, what do you have to say?
Thank you. I think that is the point exactly. I mean, whenever we strive for perfection, we're going to fail, and there is no such thing as perfection. And this idea of going back to work in the book, there's a character named Natalie, and she goes back to work after raising 3 kids. They're not fully grown. The 80s was the time of the latchkey kid. We all figured out how to get home from school and let ourselves in and have a snack and do our homework and do chores. This is what our generation was doing. I never considered when I was a kid what things were like from my mom's point of view. And I never thought that she was going to have to work, and then she was going to have to come home and make a homemade dinner, and that she was going to be responsible for cleaning the household and grocery shopping and everything. And we pitched in, but she must have been so exhausted all the time. And she is a Wonder Woman, but the pressure to be a Wonder Woman is too much for most of us.
Did you ever ask her, Ellery?
Oh, we talked a bunch before I started writing this book, mostly because this book is so autobiographical. My mysteries are not autobiographical. I've never really included people that I knew in my mysteries. Those characters are pretty much all from scratch, except for some of the villains are revenge people for well, let's just say when I go to book events and I say I'm starting a new book, if anyone has been wronged by somebody, let me know and I will slide them into a book. And I have a pretty long list. So they're partially real, but I don't know them. That's kind of the important part. But anyway, I had to kind of give my mom a heads up, like, I'm going to put you in this pretty crazy, weird book. I don't even know what's going to happen to it. I don't know if anybody's going to buy it. I don't know if anybody's going to read it. But your character's going to kind of be pretty awful because you're going to be so obsessed with your career that, you pretty much aren't going to know that there's a monster living next door that wants to eat us. So she was like, oh, that's fine with me.
First of all, hold on. We have to go back to the fact that you literally just said you go to events and say who has a vendetta, because this is the precise level of vengefulness that I, as an Italian woman, aspire to. These are my goals. I have now anointed you our new queen and leader. So everyone bow.
I am all into the vengeance. And I tell you, if you read some of the DMs I got from some people about the things that have been done to them, you would want vengeance for them too. And I can't do anything personally, but I can put it in print. And at least that one person knows who I'm talking about and feels some sort of satisfaction. So every victim and every killer in my mysteries is a vengeance tale for one person out there, and only they know.
My God, I live for this. I am living for this. Anissa Joy Armstrong, my favorite librarian and your fellow Carolinian, the South Carolinian.
Yes, we're close enough, though. We see each other often.
She says, I love this cover. Yeah, let's talk about the cover, which Ellery has very thoughtfully been on brand for. And I've now attuned our color bars here to try to get to this green, because sadly I did not think to try to do the green and pink. Yes, so this cover is so fun. And someone else submitted a question in advance about the cover and whether you got to choose it, have input in it. So tell us about this cover. I'll hold it up so everyone can see it.
I had a totally different cover idea, and I sent some ideas and I had no idea what I was going to get back. I'm so used to kind of designing covers for my mysteries, and I've had so much input with that before. And I really wanted to pull back a little bit and just give them some ideas and then pull back, because you know what? I have never published in contemporary fiction genre before. So I'm no expert. I feel like I know the mystery genre pretty well, by 46 books or what have you. But this was number one debut, and I just kind of let them go. And as soon as they showed it to me, I'm like, I love it. I don't want you to change a single thing. It screams the 80s with that pink and green.
Oh my God.
And
Totally.
then the pink tentacles kind of says, this is about women. And it is. It's entirely about women. And then the sailboat is really like a little nod to the kids in the book. And they're not little kids. They're like 12 and 13-year-olds who, and the character modeled on me, her name is Jill. And I hated sailing when I was a kid because I was desperately terrified of Jaws. And I thought if I fell overboard, Jaws was going to be waiting for me under the water. And I just didn't ever want to go out. I still don't want to go out into open water. But, when your parents say we're getting rid of you for the summer by swim team, chores, and sailing, what are you going to do? Off you go. Get in the boat.
I did not see Jaws until last year. I'm 48 years old.
Oh my gosh. How is that possible?
I don't know. I hadn't seen it, but I was also not scared of the water. I had 48 delicious years of not being scared. And actually, I'm still not scared because I feel like, honestly, that is the shark's turf. And if they don't bother me, I won't bother them. So like, I'm fine with peacefully coexisting. And if they do eat me, it's fine. I was in their turf. So I'm actually okay with that. Well,
this is like a cautionary tale to kids not to sneak into I don't know if it was R-rated back then. Or not to sneak into movies you should not be going to. When I was supposed to go see Fox and the Hound. That's a big difference. Instead of Fox and the Hound, I ended up going to Jaws and was traumatized. So that's my bad.
Oh my God. Margaret, welcome to the conversation saying, I made it. Mondays are murder and I am waiting for some of my work at home to come through. So ta-da, you're here. Yay, Margaret. Ta-da. We're so happy you're here.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. Welcome, Margaret. Amy is saying hello from South Carolina.
Hey, Amy.
With her beautiful Palomino with the white blaze. Hi, Amy and Horse. And Robin saying Mondays can be murder, but being here with Sara and friends makes them fabulous. Oh my gosh, Robin, you're the best.
So sweet.
Thank you. Okay, Anissa, you're up again. We got 2 South Carolinas in the house. She wants to know, why did you decide to write in another genre? What a great question. And did your writing process change to write this book? Great questions. Let's take those one by one.
Of course, she's going to ask phenomenal questions. I have no doubt in my mind that she's got a whole arsenal of them. But I love writing mystery. I'm not going to stop writing mystery. It really makes me happy. I really enjoy murdering people. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't see a time where I'm not sitting down and murdering people. But I really wanted to see if I could write something with fewer rules. So the mystery genre has a lot of rules. It doesn't really matter which subgenre you're writing in, whether you're writing traditional or detective or noir, there are rules you have to follow. First of all, you have to give the reader enough clues so that they can solve this as it goes. Don't hide anything from them. So when they get to the end and you have the big reveal, they think, I didn't see that coming, but let me go back and check and see where you left me those breadcrumbs. They have to be there. So that's one of the rules.
I do that.
Yeah. And that makes you a good writer, because that's really important. I feel like anybody who doesn't do that is cheating.
No, I mean, as a reader, I often don't guess it. And so I go back, I'm like, how did I not see? I totally do that. I go back and I check.
And I think that's fair, because I think that we tend to follow authors that are following that rule, because we don't want any shortcuts, right? We want them to have done the work. So in traditional mysteries, I have other rules that I have to follow. I really can't curse. I really can't show too much graphic violence. I'm going to have violence and I'm going to treat it with respect, because, I am murdering people. I'm never going to be flippant about that, because the idea that violence creates a ripple effect, I think it's much stronger than that. I think it's an earthquake. And if you have a small community, it really shakes it all up. And I wanted to see, could I just go write something with all of my favorite elements? So I want violence. I want strong female characters who are chafing at the bits of what society is telling them what they can do. I want to put in some mythology, because I love mythology. And I don't want anybody to say you can't curse and you can't show some blood. I wanted to have no rules. And it did take a long time for me to write because I kept trying drafts and sending it to my agent. And she was like, "You're not letting yourself go." I was like so held on to what I was allowed to do
Okay.
that I couldn't really let go. And then finally I was just like, okay, just let it all out. And then I did. And then all the stuff that I wanted to be in there was all in there. I didn't know what I had written, but I kind of liked it.
So to Anissa's specific excellent question, why you wanted to write in this genre because you wanted to be able to show some blood on the page and curse, and because you didn't want to adhere to the rules of having to plant the trail of crumbs of the breadcrumb
Right.
trail.
I didn't want any rules. If I
Oh,
did
no.
a genre blend, which is what this is, as a genre blend, I didn't have to follow any rules because I'm not following rules of historical fiction or even necessarily horror or folklore. Because it's a blend, nobody could say, well, you're missing this.
So did your writing process, to Anissa's second part of her excellent question, did your writing process change as you attempted to unleash the beast within Ellery?
Right.
How was that?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't come naturally. I really had to work at it. And then I've never written a book with multiple points of view ever. And then I came into this one and there are a bunch of points of view. And I
Yeah.
needed to make sure that every voice was extremely unique. And that was a real challenge, but also I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved kind of like switching bodies and being all these different women.
So in terms of the process that Anissa has pointed out and writing the multiple POVs, did your process of writing multiple POVs change in terms of how you planned them? Did you graph them out? Did you just roll
I
with the
did. I
flow?
actually got teacher bulletin board paper, and she knows what I'm talking about. And I had different bulletin board paper for each character. And then I laid them, it took up like my whole living room because I laid them out to see where their timelines were going to be. And that was before I even started writing. And they're all in different colors because you can see my bookshelves. I like color. And yeah, I put notes on everybody. And so whenever I was kind of writing their point of view, I would think about what I had written on each color and it would just kind of come. So I'm like, oh, it's Una's turn. She's yellow. Let me think about what I wrote on the yellow paper. And then I'd go.
Oh my God, this is so fun. Margaret saying, ooh, autobiographical leaves you open to my pet favorite question. Do you keep a diary? I am trying to restart my second mystery. Yay, Margaret. She says, so I can try to have a pair to sell. And one of my biggest resources is my diary from 1983. I've been keeping a diary since 1975. I guess you could say I'm into evidence. I love that. I'm a diary keeper. Ellery, are you?
I am not. Margaret, first of all, really good idea to have two books ready to go at once. That is so smart because while you're querying the first one, you can say that you already have a second completed manuscript. And then if for some reason they're like, I'm not sure if your first one's ready, you can be like, don't worry, I've got number two to show you. Maybe you'll like that one better. I mean, that's so smart to have two projects ready to go. So awesome idea. I have never been a diary keeper because I have two brothers. Okay. And there is no place in my room growing up that was not invaded by those buggers on a daily basis. There would have been no place to hide that thing. And I think I used writing as a kid as a way of figuring out how I was feeling. But also, I was like a little capitalist. I mean, remember, this is the 80s. Everybody liked stuff. And to get stuff, my allowance wasn't going to cover it. So I wasn't going to be able to buy a typewriter unless I made some more money. So I used to write little stories about the kids in my school. You know, like if Jane loved Robbie, then I'd write a story about Jane and Robbie falling in love with her. And then they'd get married and there'd be little hearts. And I'd be like, here's your story. Give me a quarter.
Oh
right?
my God.
And they wanted the story. I mean, I illustrated them everything. This was full service here. And I was like a little drug dealer in the back of the bus, but with stories, I'd be like, yo, Robbie, I wrote one for you too. You interested? You know, you become the star baseball player. And he'd be like, yeah, I don't really like books, but let me see. I'm like, you got to give me a quarter. So I went like right to entrepreneurship, like, and skipped the diary entry. But also, growing up with my brothers, you would not have written anything personal or private down if you were in my household.
Oh my God, I am obsessed. So as you were writing the stories and dealing them on the school bus, was anyone ever like, no, I don't want the story? Or was everyone like, my God, a story about me, hurrah?
I would give them like a teaser because they didn't always have money at the end of the day, but I knew the next day they might come in with money. And so I would just put it in my book bag. So I'd show them like 2 pages. It was terrible, right? And then I'd put it back in my book bag and be like, see you tomorrow.
How much did you make, Ellery? Are you a millionaire from your
No,
kid
definitely. I
hustle?
mean, and I was not a saver as a kid. If I had money, it would burn hole in my pocket and I would buy something. I used to buy those Breyer plastic horses, those
Oh my
overpriced,
God,
ridiculous
yes,
horses, right? I
yes.
mean, one of those is probably like 40 stories.
Oh my God. So Ellery, my friend, whose name is also Sara Maslin-Neer, she is an incredible journalist who's been nominated for 2 Pulitzer Prizes in journalism. She writes
Wow.
for the New York Times, but she also writes a kid's book called Once Upon a Horse. And the Breyer horses approached her and made a horse model for her of her horse. And
Wow.
she has her own Breyer model. I was like, you are probably the coolest person I know.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, we're just never going to top that.
We're really
I should
not.
just get off right now
Yeah.
because
Just go back. I'll be on the couch with a bag of bonbons.
yeah,
Oh
same.
my
I'm
God.
going for ice cream.
Oh my God. Robin is saying most of us did what needed to be done in the 80s. There were other desires that were rarely addressed. Exactly. That's so true. It was about doing everything that was needed to be done. And someone was saying, was this during the era of bring home the bacon and fry it up too? I think it was that, right? I'm scrolling back because they're coming in quick. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Margaret
like
is saying that. I bring home the
here's a
bacon and
book
fry it up.
title from then. This is like
Yeah.
a best-selling book from then, having it all.
Helen
Right?
Gurley Brown. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys remember these movies,
Oh my God, of course.
right?
Yeah, oh my God, 2 of my favorite movies. Yes.
So here's Melanie Griffiths, right? And she has to come in with her sneakers and then change to the stilettos when she's at work because you can't be wearing sneakers there. You have to look like a fashion model. Oh, and look at that great 80s hair.
Oh my
That
God,
was
the
my
bigger the
prom hair right
better.
there.
I know. Hold on, I gotta go get a can of aerosol or whatever it's called.
Wait, what was the hairspray that we all used in the 80s? I'm
Aquanet.
blanking. Yes, Aquanet. Thank you.
And eggs, the pantyhose and the eggs. Remember
Yes,
that?
look at our power suits.
Oh wait, shoulder pads, bigger or better. They're back.
Yep. I really did not like that because I was a swimmer and I already had big shoulders, and so I really was not into that.
Oh my God. Robin wants to know, Sara, do you recognize the first 2 nights of the Jaws music? Now I do. Da-na, da-na. But I'm still not scared.
I'm
like,
still, that is blowing my mind. 48.
oh my
I
little
could have
fishy
I could have
friends.
had such a healthy relationship with the water, but then I probably wouldn't have written this book because I really channeled that terror that I felt as a kid.
It's funny because my husband grew up in Massachusetts, and I'm sorry, but it is like the water in New England is too cold for me. So I got a diving suit, like to keep myself warm, and not like I'm
now
diving.
you look like a seal. This is not good.
Said that.
This is not good.
Like, oh my God, you look like a seal. You're going to be shark bait. And I was like, I think.
Yeah, and you guys have the Gulf Stream swing in with all of the great whites. Like, no, do not go in with that suit on. No.
Hold on a second. Margaret says she hasn't seen it, the original either. Thank you, Margaret. I knew.
Oh my gosh, ladies! All right, don't watch it, Margaret.
Oh my God, no, watch it. It's so great. Okay,
you guys, as adults, like you can tell it's fake. I think it's kids who really can't tell, so it's so scary.
Oh my God. Linda is joining us on Facebook. Linda, I love your profile picture. That is
hey, me too,
every
Linda.
single day. Thank you for putting that out there. Margaret saying, thank you for your reinforcement about writing book 2. Book 1 was my student narrator in winter. Book 2 is her summer school making up classes she had to drop. I understand about your brothers. I had to get ingenious to hide my early diaries from my sister in the next bedroom. Oh my God, totally.
I mean, really, like we needed a false wall in my house, which we did not have.
No, you needed a real wall with a lock, a padlock.
Yeah. I know locks wouldn't matter. They would just bolt cutter it. That was not going to stop them.
Oh my God, Renee, exactly. Oh my God, Renee's giving me the seal emoji. I know. sexy
Right, but you need to
seal.
have the seal and the shark fin and then like a blood droplet. That's what it's going to be.
I'll put it on anytime.
We're pleading with you. Please, please.
Amy's saying, I was raising my kids in the 80s. My husband traveled, so I had to do what I could to get things done. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the vibe. You guys, I
Yeah,
want to
Amy,
remind
so
you.
you're really going to identify with Natalie because my dad traveled a lot for work, and she was often at home. And the great thing about that was that when she also had to work, we had this woman come watch us, and she was from Iceland. And she was one of the people that really cemented my love of story because
Mm,
for those of you that know anything about Icelandic culture, folklore is huge there. I
yes.
mean, you can go anywhere in the country and see little houses for elves and rocks that were used to be trolls and were
Oh,
turned into rocks by the rising sun. I mean, this is probably where J.R.R. Tolkien got the idea for in The Hobbit. But they're also an island nation, and so all the waters around there, so much of their history was about fishing and going out into these frozen, treacherous waters to earn a living. And so they have lots and lots of sea monster lore. As a matter of fact, they even have a sea monster museum.
wow.
So she really ignited my imagination about folklore. And it was nice growing up because we typically would read all the Greek myths. And that's often what kids will start off with is Greek mythology. But I was also learning about Icelandic and Norse lore
Mm,
from her. And so that was like a really big plus for me was that we were with this gentle, beautiful, wonderful person who told us stories. And so I add her to the book as the person who will believe what the kids say and
mm.
believe in a sinister force or a sinister creature next door because of
Ooh.
her history. She knows that it is possible for there to be something inhuman on the street.
Um, Linda says, Ellery, I've been reading your stories for years. I hope you can write more of the bakery mysteries. Any plans to write the bit more of the bakery mysteries, Ellery?
Are you referring to the pie shops, maybe? It's so funny because everybody always asks me about the charm pie shops, which I really enjoyed writing because it's kind of based on Arthurian legend, which I love. But I got to put it to you plainly, they were my worst selling books. I didn't sell very many of them, and the publisher was not going to renew the series, but I also don't have rights back to them. So it's hard as an author to be motivated to continue your worst selling series when other stuff is selling better. I mean, just to speak plainly, I think everybody told me afterward how much they loved it, but at the time, they just weren't leaving the shelf.
Oh my goodness. Renee is gifting us with a seal. A
Oh,
shark.
there we go. You did it, girl.
If
You
I
did
had
it.
known this was a conversation was going to take a shark-like turn, I would have put on my wetsuit and done it. And you could put on your Jaws
Yeah.
and you could chase me around. You guys, I want to remind you that oh my goodness, Margaret saying, Ellery, you are a new author to me, but I am delighted to have a new author to catch up to in my reading. Margaret, I'm so glad you said that because when I started this series 6 years ago, you guys, 6 years ago, I said that my goal was to connect readers to their favorite writers and introduce them to their new favorite authors. So here's a new favorite author for you, Margaret. So mission accomplished. You guys, I want to remind you that the book is not even out yet. Ellery is coming on to give us the inside scoop and take our most pressing questions live. Now, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here is the link that you can pre-order Invasive Species from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore that is, of course, Murder by the Book. And whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube, here is that link. So click and get your mitts on the 1980s fabulous world of invasive species. Annette,
And I
welcome to
do love
conversation.
that bookstore. It is one of my favorite bookstores in the country. I try to go there every year. I am going to be back there for those of you in Texas for the launch of the next Secret Book and Scone Society. So I will be back. We are actually going to have a pre-launch before the publication date, and I'm hoping it's going to be like a big party and you guys will all come.
Yay. Annette saying, I am a new Ellery fan. I started with the Secret Book and Scone Society series. I love those complex women who support each other while learning to trust each other and themselves. Oh, yay. Annette, welcome to the conversation. So good to have you.
Welcome, Annette.
Yay. All right, you guys, we are out of time. Time flies when you're having this much fun. Ellery, thank you so much for coming on to give us the inside scoop about invasive species. And thank you all, my wonderful mavens, for joining me. I hope your week is off to a killer start. May the days and the pages fly by, and I will be back with you next Monday. Oh, Renee, you are so very welcome to saying thank you, Sara and Ellery. Oh, and last question goes to Renee. Ellery, what is next?
Oh, so the Liars Book Club is coming out in October. That is Secret Book and Scone Society number 9. And I've just started number 10. I have a contract up till 11. So we're going to keep going as long as I can. And I've already turned in my next genre blend with horror elements. And again, it's going to feature some friends, women who are friends, very complex, who are coming apart at the seams in a different setting for a different reason. So I just like my women.
Oh, I like women too. Linda, you're so welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Robin
Linda.
saying, Sara, it's hard to believe that it's only been the past few years that you, Renee, Margaret, and all of the mavens have become so loved in my life. Oh, Robin, I know. We were all, thank you for saying that. We were all stuck at home and it's been 6 years. And I just realized I should be doing something to celebrate that. So you know what? Let's do a fabulous, fabulous giveaway in the Mystery and Thriller Mavens Facebook group. So if you are not a member, that's where all the best stuff happens. It is, of course, free and open to all. So I'm going to put it in the link. So it is,
you need a party for sure.
And Thriller Mavens, free and open. I'll just click join group and I will approve you. And then let's do a fabulous, fabulous giveaway with lots and lots of books. So everybody go over there. All right, that is a wrap for us. You guys, I will see you next week. Join the group. We're going to do a giveaway to celebrate 6 fabulous years, which I can't believe. And I will see you next Monday. Take very good care until then.
Bye. Thank you.